I got the third party message.
Okay, good. I think we're there. It did just log me into.
I got the third party message.
Okay, good. I think we're there. It did just log me into.
I got the third party message.
Okay, good. I think we're there. It did just log me into.
The third party message. It did just log me into.
Okay. Is it working for everyone?
I
I
can hear you.
I'm just personally having trouble getting my camera to work, so I'm working on that.
I can see you, Andrea.
Okay, good. Is it working for everyone? I'm getting some sort of weird,
I can hear you.
I'm getting some sort of weird, like,
getting my camera to work, so I'm working on that.
sound.
feedback. The repeat.
Okay, good. You can hear that? Is it working for everyone?
Yeah, over and over.
Yeah, it's been doing the same thing.
Okay, what about now?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, good. We did it.
You look so surprised.
I am. I thought I knew it could happen. Gosh, you never know. Well, hello everyone. I'm back
Well
here
done.
again. It
Thank you.
looks like. Everyone else good?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I guess we will get started. Welcome to the
Wait.
Franklin Township, December 4th, 2024, Franklin Township Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces meeting. It looks like we have one member of the public. We have 4 members of the Parks and Rec Board present tonight. First up, I'm going to make a motion to approve the, let's see, October 2024 minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Okay, motion passes. So I think we have a pretty quick meeting tonight, probably. First up, we do have a member of the public here. If you'd like to say anything, open to public comment. If not, we will continue on. Old business, sign language sign. We got an email from Bob today that the sign had been ordered. Did everyone see that? Bob is unable to make it.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. He
Okay,
said it
good.
was ordered in last week or something,
Yeah,
and that he had some updates about the Boy Scout project.
that's right. They said it would take a few weeks to ship, but it was ordered. You're right. And so that's exciting. I don't know what the plan is for installation. My guess is we might wait a little while until the ground's not frozen to install. I'm not sure there's any huge rush to install once it arrives. So we can talk about that when it happens and plan to get out there and do that. The kiosk at Bamshire. Paul, is that you?
Yeah, I haven't done anything on it. It's
Okay.
still my plan to do so, but I haven't done anything on it.
Okay. So this is in Paul's court.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about it every month either, but when I do it, I'll tell you when
Okay.
I'm planning it, then I'll say something so if anybody wants to come help.
I thought we were going to let a Boy Scout do that.
No, this is the one I built a while ago.
Oh,
So
Danshire, I'm sorry. I thought I was
Danshire.
thinking Crossings.
yeah, we need some in Crossing. That's Boy Scouts, yeah.
Did the roof ever get fixed on the one over in Crossan?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a while to look at it.
I'll have to take a look or ask Jeff. Okay, good. Next up is the preserved farmland signs, and I have that right here. I can share with you guys.
Yeah,
Kyle set that
think-
over, and it's fantastic. Did you guys see it?
Yeah, I'd like to present it. Like I think we should just say let's present it to the board next time and ask them if it's okay to start asking. Well, after they approve the design, of course, and wording,
Okay.
if we can start asking homeowners if we can post it.
Should we get pricing first or let them approve it, then get pricing?
You're right. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we should
And-
absolutely present it to the board, get pricing. I am seeing if
do-
I can pop it up here for you guys too.
Do you want me to get pricing, Paul, or?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but Kyle, I think we should get it after they discuss it because they'll probably change they might change the size or the wording or whatever, but
Okay, so I put it up for everyone to see.
do you have a size in mind?
No, I was gonna ask you what size you wanted.
So, I never did go measure the one in Kennett Square as the one I'm modeling this after, but I'm guessing it's 16 to 18 inches high and an oval, so maybe a foot or 14 inches wide is my guess.
I think you want it big enough so that people can recognize, they won't be able to read it as they're driving by, but if they can start recognizing the signs and
Yes. Yes.
that's really what we want. So I
Yeah,
think
once they read one, then they recognize the sign as they're driving by, right?
right.
But and I'm trying to keep it small just so more people are more willing to put it on their farm somewhere. If it's some big monster billboard, they're not going to want it as, so somewhere in between where it's a modest sign but still readable.
Yeah.
But like I said, the one in Kennett was 16 to 18 inches high. And I think, Kyle, didn't you say that the signs in the park are 18 inches high? Is that
The
right?
signs in the park were 18 by 18.
Yeah, so this is an oval, so it would be 18 by something. I don't know, whatever the oval works out to be.
I love the sign, Kyle. I think it looks really beautiful.
Is this the new wording your daughter suggested?
No, this is your wording.
So
Oh,
this
well, you
private
can-
farm is permanently preserved by the owner through the cooperation of Franklin Township.
What was the grammatical correction?
I forget.
Instead of
Coordination.
coordination. So instead of cooperation, coordination. Well, you can propose your daughter's wording. I'm happy
Oh,
with
I don't
that.
really care.
I thought it was a good upgrade. I'm not
But
the
I
best
think
at
everybody
grammar.
liked this. I think they wanted the cooperation. Just see what the board says.
Okay.
Because
I-
I think you talked about also that some properties have to have different wording, right?
Yes, at the bottom.
Yes.
The board, Dave had talked about just leaving off all that at the bottom, but I think it's important to have it because some of them were Chester County Ag and some of them were other grants and programs. But I think it's okay to have different wording at the bottom, depending on who helped preserve it.
Can I ask a really weird technical question? Like, not technical, but like layout question. I know I've said this before that weird stuff bothers me. If we got rid of the period at the end, then maybe the Department of Agriculture would look a little bit more centered under the rest of the wording.
I mean, I can move agriculture down to the bottom.
No, but if you get rid of the
I would
period,
like
then
that
it
better.
centers.
I don't know why, but stuff like that just my eyes, it like
You must be a designer.
I must have some sort of design method.
So
would
you
think.
want department
So if you
of,
got the
and then-
period, maybe it would shift everything over to the right, just like one space, and then it would look a little more centered, within the oval.
oh, so you don't want agriculture on another line?
No, I think it's fine on that line.
Kyle?
Actually, I like that. Just like, shift it.
Get rid of the period.
Kyle, could we see it both ways with agriculture down one line so that it kind of tapers down to the bottom, like more like a V, and then also see it without the period to see if it centers.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm telling you guys, don't get too attached because the board's going to change the wording anyway.
So I think it's actually interesting. So I think when we go to them, we need to be open to that, and also I think we should ask them, right? If they have a preference for cooperation or coordination. My guess is they'll have strong feelings about that, and so I really believe that if we go to them with that option or asking their input, that they would really appreciate that.
So, what about color? Kyle, wasn't some of your other models in color, like I want to say
I did-
green or something, or brown?
Yeah, I did have it. Am I
I
still
was
on?
gonna ask that too.
I had a green, and when I showed them both to you at that wherever we were, you said, "Oh no, it's got to be black and white."
No, I didn't say black and white, but I think you had the whole thing green, like the background green. I was saying, could you change the font and the tree to green or something? Just add some color somewhere.
I had preserved farmland green.
That sounds good.
I can't. The tree has to stay black.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
mean, I could, but I think if I change the wording, it to a different color, it won't show up. So the only thing I could change is preserve farmland.
Could you do like all the wording in a dark Kelly green?
I could try that.
What if
And-
you just did the perimeter? Like, is the black oval we're looking at, is that just so that we're seeing the overall shape of the sign, or
Yes, the
actual-
black won't be there.
will the actual sign have a
No.
band around it? Because if it had a band around it, maybe the sign was white, the wording was still black, but the band was like that dark green.
Yeah, I like the band. I like to have a band
I do
around
too.
the border.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
So maybe that's how we introduce color. I mean, I think, again, to Paul's point when we were talking about size, right? If people are driving by, we want them to very clearly be able to see preserved farmland. And so if it is, we want it, I think the black and white and or a lighter color green with the black on it would be fine. But I think the green writing might be harder to see.
Why don't you put together a couple options, just color, same wording, same everything, just a couple color options, and that might give the board some ideas.
But Kyle, I really like the band. So if we could keep that and
All right.
okay.
And make that green. Try one
Yeah, I
green.
think that could be an option, and then that might introduce some color, and maybe preserved farmland is in the same kind of like dark hunter green or dark Kelly green or something like that, and then everything else is the black and white.
All right. Okay.
All right, well, let's, can we agree to, when Kyle comes up with a few, we'll bring that to the board next time so we can move this thing forward?
Sure. Are they having a meeting in December? Do we know? I think Dawn just got on. Dawn, are you having a meeting in December? No, maybe she's not here.
She's not on.
I think she keeps trying to join.
Yeah, I saw her for a minute, but I don't see her now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll check in and see. But yeah, I agree. Let's get it moving. Next up is the Meadow update. It was on last month's agenda. We unfortunately were unable to meet last month because of a technicality, and so, or a technical issue. And so, do we know what the Meadow update is? Anyone?
Just from what Dawn said, I think at the Board of Supervisors meeting, she just
Yeah,
talked about it.
I think it was a Dawn update and you know, she was getting some company to come out and train them on how to do it and propose cost to
Oh,
do it or
yes.
something, but I don't,
Nothing for us then.
nothing for us, right? I think it was
Okay,
just a courtesy.
Okay, good. So on to new business. So the hot topic in new business is appointing a new chair for the Parks Recreation and Open Spaces committee or board. And so you know, I think that we've had a lot of discussion amongst ourselves, right? Bob is not here. I think what we've decided is, you know, we'd love if Bob stayed on as the, you know, the vice chair, and then Heather Doss took over as chair of the board. And Heather, I think you've agreed to that.
I have.
Okay, good. So
Thank
I
you.
would like to make a motion to appoint Heather Doss as the new chair of the Franklin Township Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Board. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
All in favor? I think it's also just Kyle.
Aye.
If I could vote. Not sure if I can vote or not.
But for the record, you know, I think we have a majority here. For the record, Jen Albany was unable to make it tonight. She has, you know, spoken and said that she is in agreement, and as is Bob Magnus. So we are all on the same page. So thank you, Heather, for taking on this this task.
Yes, thank you, Heather.
You're very welcome. And I also just want to publicly say that I am very sorry that Mary stepped down, and we miss you and will continue to miss you, and hope that we can still have you involved on as many levels as possible.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree with that. Okay. So then the next topic tonight is, I
Wait,
think
do
we
we,
have,
do we have to make a motion for Bob?
I don't think so, because he's already
Yeah, he's already there. Yeah.
in
Okay.
place.
All right.
So we will present it. You know, I've already told the Board of Supervisors that this is what our plan was for tonight. And I think, you know, we'll also present Heather and, you know, this to them at their next meeting, whether it's this month or next. Okay, all good. Next up is there has been some discussion, you know, amongst us about, and I know with the Board of Supervisors as well, as to, you know, finding or opening up a spot for somebody else to join our group. And I know that there are, you know, I guess, Paul, did they change the criteria? Did they officially change criteria? Are you able to join if you are not a Franklin Township resident now?
Yeah,
Or anyone can answer that.
I know they instructed the solicitor to go write that up. I just don't remember if it was officially adopted, the new language, but I think it was. I think it was last month.
I don't think, personally, I don't think that they did. I think they
No.
discussed it.
Yeah,
And
they
then
didn't
they
vote on
said-
it.
Yeah, they said we're gonna we'll move on with this later or next meeting or something. Like there was not a
I'm pretty sure at the
Because-
BOS
because-
meeting on the 20th, they passed the whole committee concept and the outside the township thing.
Yeah, that's what my recollection. It was because they just had to change a few sentences. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. So let's just
Matter.
consider
So,
that
I mean,
if it's not now, it's coming next month. So we
So
should
it's kind of
consider
irrelevant
outside.
at this point, right? So, but I mean, I think that you know, we are down. How many people were originally on the board? I think you were maybe still. I
No,
mean,
we're just one down.
just one down. So there's a spot open for
Yeah.
somebody else to join the board, and I know that, you know, there have been several people that maybe have expressed a little bit of interest. And I think as a group, we probably need to get together and talk about that and present that to the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, I suspect if we don't do it tonight and make a proposal next month, they'll pick for us, which is fine. That's their
Sure.
their decision. But
So Paul, then is that something you want to discuss tonight? I mean, I know we had a little bit of, talk amongst us about it.
yeah,
mean-
we should throw out some names, and just so the board has a few more names. But traditionally, they advertise it, on Facebook or on the township share website, just to get the word out. But sometimes when they have somebody in mind, they just go approach that person and then assign that person. So, but I think we should at least try to bring up some ideas. And if they give us a month or two to make a proposal, that would be great, because some people, I haven't approached people about it. But
Okay.
like, I know we have some guys that volunteer a lot, like Chris Perkins volunteers for me a lot. He's in Windermere, so he's a resident, and he's always out there helping on the trails. And Bob had mentioned a guy in the FSA. I don't remember his name. Sorry, Bob. But Bob had a name there, said he's a good volunteer that's always interested in helping. And then I know Dawn really likes to work with Noah, who's not a resident, but lives right beside the park. So I think with the new rule change, he could qualify.
Noah, I think.
Noah, yes, Noah.
Mhm.
You need his, I don't remember his last name. I can look it up here. I have his phone number. So,
Well,
and then of
there
course,
was I guess there was another person that bought
Greg Sachs.
Greg
Yeah,
Sachs'
Greg
house?
Sachs.
yeah,
moved in
Greg, the guy who
Culver.
bought Greg's house, he came to a few of our meetings when he first moved here. I don't remember his name either. Anybody remember?
No, but we could reach out to we could reach out to Greg and ask him if he, or we could look it up. I mean,
And then Matt Thompson, the bike guy, right? He's always volunteering and does a lot of great work in the Crossing Park. He is not a Franklin resident, but with the new rule change, he could be considered as well. And I have no idea if any of the people I just mentioned are interested. So I'm not, I don't want anybody to say, oh, well, Paul said you're doing this, but I'm just trying to throw out names that we could discuss or approach people, and just give the board some ideas that there's other people out there. And if they want us to go do the legwork and try to vet them first and see what interest there is, we can do that for them. Or if they're, dead set on getting someone in there, then we shouldn't waste our time. Then they could assign somebody.
so maybe the best course of action is at the Board of Supervisor meeting this month, unless you think we should email them ahead of time, ask the board if they're willing to give us time, or if
Well, I think both. I think we should, I'll ask a few people and see if there's interest, and that would help maybe give the board more options. I would think they'd want a few options and to consider.
I have asked around a little bit myself, and two of the people that I approached said they weren't personally interested, but that they would get back to me with other names, and have not yet. I will message Greg right away about his new property owner, and I am more than happy to take the lead and sort of approach the board, this week, next week, prior to.
Yeah, great.
If they have any.
And Heather, traditionally as the leader of the group, you're free to contact the supervisors outside the meeting, to get their opinions and get direction. You don't have to do everything in the meeting. It's fine for you to call.
Understood.
Dave
and you will get
Understood.
more done. You'll get a lot more done if you make those connections outside of
Yeah.
the meeting times, because or the time during is very limited.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and when you email them, just
totally understand and agree.
Okay.
Yeah, text or email or whatever, and email their Franklin emails on the website.
Mhm.
But it's always good to get their opinion before, so you're not surprised in the meeting. Oh, I have no support, or oh, I have a lot of support. So it's better to know ahead of time.
And Dave has said that if you want to text him about anything before emailing the whole board, or just to kind of, hash something out, then, he's very open to that. So, I can get you his contact information if you ever wanted to do that.
Yeah, and the same with Jeff. Keep Jeff in the loop whenever you're doing stuff.
Yeah. Thanks. I do have all Dave's contact info.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that is the end of our official agenda for tonight. One thing I thought about after after I sent it was, do we want to have a meeting in January, or should we skip January? Anyone? What is the first Wednesday of January? The first.
Can we hold off to make that decision and see what happens in the next couple weeks in terms of the board, like the board and
Yes, but
members
the
and anything
first-
that,
Yeah, the first Wednesday of January is
New
the
Year's
first.
Day.
It's New Year's Day.
Then we go
oh,
the
well, I
8th.
think that I think that automatically ought to be skipped if it's New Year's Day.
We can ask if we can
So-
move to the 8th if we wanted to.
Yeah,
But
we
do
certainly
do
can
they
move it.
workshop on the second Tuesday or the second Wednesday?
Let's tentatively say we won't have one, but let's leave that open to change.
You can always move it, Heather, to the next week or Thursday or the day after. You know, it doesn't have to be because it falls on the holiday. You're free to move it.
Right. Okay. Well, like I said, well, obviously we'll say now that it will not be on the 1st, and we'll leave it tentative whether we move it to the next day or the next week
Well,
or skip.
I think we should, in that if we're supposed to find somebody, we don't want to waste a month. Then we're not delivering for the board. But it's up to you. It's
Okay.
good to keep
Well-
things going.
In terms of schedule and everything else, my preference personally would be to move it to the following week to the 8th. Anybody else
That's fine.
with
with me.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Okay. So as of now, we will have the January meeting on the 8th,
We'll just
unless,
let Jeff know
unless
so
we
that he
need to-
can
yeah.
he can advertise it or put it on the SharePoint site. Website.
great.
If you look at the ordinance where the pro was created, we owe them like an annual report of what we achieved and what our goals are for the next year, what our plans are, stuff like that. And I'm not saying it has to be the first one in January, but an annual update.
I don't think we did that last year, did we?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you guys have a link to it? I found it on the township website the other day. If you don't have the full resolution, you can find it there.
Is there a time frame for that?
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Okay. All
So
right.
do we want to go through what we did this year just to make it easier for Heather?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I figured really just reading Kyle's minutes from each of the 12 meetings and try to summarize them, But
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah,
really, it might be easier to even go just through like the agenda, so you don't have to go through all the text and we could just remind ourselves, we could come up with a little list.
Right. And it's just the major stuff. You're not looking to do every single thing, just the major things. And then we should talk about, we can do it in January or now, or a little of both. What do we want? What are our big projects for next year? What do you want to do? I think addressing the pickleball courts is one. And my idea for that, by the way, was ask the pickleball crew, what do they want to do? Let them get us some quotes, because if it's a full refurbishment, it's $30,000 like the tennis courts, and I don't think anybody wants to pay for that, not even them. So maybe it's like Kyle said, we just put a coating on it so it's not scuffing up their balls. And even though some of the cracks, the big cracks might show through, but there's very few large cracks because it's concrete. And maybe that'll be sufficient for the pickleball crew, and that's only whatever, $2,000, so let the pickleball crew decide what their needs are and what they're willing to pay for and how much they can contribute.
Yeah. Well, it would also be interesting. I mean, at the beginning of the year is when we see all the grants come through. And so if we could apply for a grant for something, that would be nice to figure out as well. So working on quotes sooner rather than later is not a bad idea.
Absolutely.
I think we need to continue with the trail signs and get them all finished at Crossing.
Yeah, good one. Well, Bob's got that Boy Scout engaged, but he did comment in his email that he's not responding fast. But that's the way I found with most of the scouts. Not all of them, but they're busy with school and they're not responding very well sometimes.
And we wanted the map sign in at the Y.
Yep.
The preserve farmland signs, get that going, right?
Yeah, one thing I was thinking, we need a list of properties, like
And we need to contact the property owners.
yeah, who is that though? Like which ones are preserved? Which ones
The
qualify?
township would know that, right? I mean, would Jeff
Yeah,
or something on the list?
The map of preserved properties is on the township website.
Right. Okay.
And the 2 kiosks. The one across, the Crossing one and the Vanshire.
Yeah. So in Bob's email, he said Dave had suggested like a privacy thing for the porta potty to hide it, and that's fine. That's a good project for a scout. Although I would say we're only gonna have the porta potty for like 4 months out of the year.
I
But
had before on construction projects just thrown up, just very simple, wooden fencing, like you get the sections of it from like Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere.
right.
And we just very quickly were able to throw together a couple pieces on 3 sides of it and hide it. And that was, that worked in, very high-end neighborhoods. And so I think we could make it work at the park.
So we only need it for a few months, and then for the rest of the year it would stand there empty. And so I was just thinking maybe what you just said, if it's removable, that might be even better. But if it's too removable, it's very windy at Crossing Park. You needed to be sturdy enough to withstand that wind because it's crazy how windy it gets there. So anyway, it's just something to consider. But if the board wants to hide it, then that's fine.
But I would think it would be vandalized when the potty's not there.
The little fence thing, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be sitting there, 9 months out of the year vacant,
Yeah.
Well,
maybe that's a good case for making it
What?
removable.
Yeah, or something, yeah, something could be folded or that's see-through, but still aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, we can look at the options.
What happened to that goo-goo thing you were talking about, Paul,
The what thing?
Goo Goo Ball?
at the
Oh,
playground?
Gaga pit. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm telling you, it's popular with the elementary school kids. All the churches and elementary schools have them, and it's a great activity from 2 to 20 kids. I think it'd be a good low maintenance addition to the park and low cost.
How much
Weren't we
space
gonna-
does it need?
What was that? 2 of you talk.
How much space, sorry, how much space does it need?
They're generally between 16 and 24 feet octagon. So not much. Like those monkey bars take up. Think of
Yeah.
it like that. But there's no space in the mulch pile, but it's not an activity for climbing, so it doesn't need mulch under it. Actually, you can't have mulch under it because the ball needs to move. So I was going to ask Jeff if we could put it on top of the septic field because there's no weight to it. There's no foundation to it. It just sits on the ground, on the grass. So, of course, he could tell us where the real field is and we could move it beside it. And if we have to dig up the field, this thing can just be moved. It's not I don't know. It has to be on a flat surface is the only requirement. Can't
I
be
thought
on a
we-
hill.
I thought we were gonna ask the Boy Scout to do that.
Yeah, that is a good Boy Scout project. You're right. Yep.
I'd rather see that than the porta potty thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just so happy that they have porta potties. You know, if they want to do that, I'll support it. Kyle's the way I'm thinking about the porta potty fence. But yeah, I like the Gaga pit better for the kids.
Agree.
Um, and I don't know if the board members know what that is, so maybe but we just put it on a Boy Scout list and oh well, maybe we just talk about it. We have to get it approved by the board before we can put it on the Boy Scout list because we don't want it to be on the list and a Boy Scout wants to do it, but then the Board of Supervisors says no. So I guess we need to show them an example of one or something, a picture.
I can take care of that for the presentation to them 2 weeks.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah. It is a good scout project.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We have a pretty good list here. And other things will come up, right?
One project is the one Bob mentioned is on Bamshire Trail. A tree fell last summer and Chris and I, we used shovels and pickaxes trying to, the roots uprooted the trail. So it's just a big hole. We spent several hours trying to put the dirt back in the hole and we got about half of it done. And then we never went back to finish it, but it's all hand digging, a lot of work. So that's a good trail project when we get our group back together for trail work. I don't know, probably starts in March or something.
I'm sorry, Paul, what did you say that was?
Bamshire?
Is that where you wanted the bridge to go?
No. This just needs to be filled in with dirt. There's no water flow or anything. It's just a big hole because a huge tree uprooted and took the trail right out. So what you do now is people just walk around the hole. You know, I was thinking you guys haven't been to Bamshire. Some of you, we should do a group walk through there.
Okay, let's do it.
I know it's now it's
Yes,
dark in the evening, so we're
absolutely.
restricted to weekends only, but it's kid friendly, so you can bring your family with you.
Yeah,
Okay, let's plan a time.
let's shop a couple dates around.
Are we
By
allowed
text
in
or
there because the
email.
hunters?
Yeah, the hunters closed 2 trails, Kyle. So
Trails. I thought it was just one trail.
what's that?
They closed 2 trails.
Yeah, they closed 2 of the center trails. So I think it's the Orange Trail and Green Trail are closed, yeah. So, but we can still walk around the other trails.
Was that cleared last year to have both trails shut down?
It's the same as last year. Yeah, no change.
Okay. The other thing I thought about for our list for next year is we need to circle back around to that memorial tree that needed to be replaced.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's got to be on our list.
Yeah, I think Jeff made contact with the donators and he was going to meet with them in the spring or something to pick out a tree. I don't remember. Something about spring.
I can reach out to them too. They're friends with my older son. Bob said if we want to do a Sunday walk through this time of year, that's a great day to go to Bamshire. He just sent me a text message. So if we want to try and plan I know this time of year is very difficult for everyone just because of the
Yeah,
the
I
holidays, but
think Sunday's great. Sunday morning.
I could
Should be
do a
good.
Sunday morning.
Agreed.
But if you want to bring kids, you don't have to make it bright and early. You can make it kid friendly, so something more reasonable for them.
8:30 or 9, something like that. Okay.
Well, yeah, and a little later, I was thinking 9 or 10 because then it warms up a little bit. You don't want to bring the kids out at 30 degrees, they'll be miserable. Unless your kids are tougher than mine.
Well, it depends on the day, Paul. It depends on the day. Isn't that the truth with all of them? Okay, I think that's all I had. I mean, I think we'll probably think about we'll think of more things for this list. But that's a good start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, if there are no other additional topics, I will ask for any public comment. And if there is no public comment, anyone? I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. So,
I second.
all in favor, I guess, everyone,
Aye.
Thanks for running it, Andrea.
of course. of
Thank you,
course.
Andrea.
Yes.
Thank you all. This was very productive and so we've got a great list.
Yeah, and
Doing
let's
good.
let's text each other and let's see if in the next like 2 Sundays we can get over to Bamshire.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Bye.
Thank you. Everybody have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.